11th class economics. Now we are talking about slope of demand curve. So what is the slope of demand curve? Slope of demand curve is basically change in price upon change in quantity here. This is the demand curve, and this is the linear demand curve I have made just, but you have to make like this. No need to touch any axis to x and y. So this is the demand curve you have made. This is known as linear demand curve, which is basically not in your syllabus, and that is the demand curve you have to make in this way. No need to touch from any axis. So the slope of demand curve is, that is change in P. If we move from A to B point, then while moving A from B, there is a change in price that is showing with this vertical line, and then this is horizontal line that is showing the change in quantity. So the formula is change in P upon change in Q. That will always comes in negative. Why? Because there is a inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Because price is falling, so there is a change negative, and then quantity increasing, there is a positive. So every time one element will fall and other one variable will fall and other variable will rise, so always it will be negative. So no need to mention the negative, because it is implied that it is in a negative. So slope of demand curve is change in P upon change in Q here, means change in price upon change in quantity. Whenever you are to see the slope of any curve, any line, then you are to calculate in this way, change in vertical upon change in horizontal. So the formula is change in vertical upon change in horizontal. So vertical here represented by change in P, that is vertical, and this is horizontal, so that is why change in P upon change in Q, that is why change in P upon change in Q, this will be the formula. So that is the slope of demand curve. If we are talking about numerical, by taking the example of numerical, then suppose the price falls from 10 rupees to 4 and quantity demanded increases from 20 units to 40 units, and by making the diagram, just made the diagram by taking the table, by following the table. So if we are continue with the example of this in decrease in price and increase in quantity demanded, and we are making, I am just made the diagram for you, because I didn't mention the table, but by following the table I have just made the diagram, and but pointing out this particular feature, that there is a decrease in price by 6 and increase in quantity demanded by 20. So now I have to calculate the slope of demand curve here. So change in price, that is 6 rupees, and change in quantity, that is 20, and by dividing I am having slope of demand curve is 3 by 10, that is in negative. Negative I have to mention because there is a decrease in price by minus, there is a decrease in price by 6, so minus is over there, and then I am getting slope of demand curve as minus 3 by 10. So this numerical can also come, fine, and you have to calculate slope of demand curve here, fine. Slope of demand curve basically that measures the flatness or steepness of demand curve only, and it is based on the absolute change in price and quantity. It doesn't show that how much percentage change comes over there. It just showing the flatness and steepness by showing the proportion between the change in P and change in Q, fine. There the topic is given to you, that is on page number 3.8 in Sandeep Garg, and there the topic we are following, that is slope of demand curve. Slope of demand curve is defined as change in variable on y-axis divided by the change in variable on x-axis. So the slope of demand curve equals the change in price divided by change in quantity. So this is the slope of demand curve. As you see that negative part, negative is not mentioned over there, so that is over there, and this is the change in demand curve, slope of demand curve over there, fine. And this is the diagram they have made over there, and change in P upon change in Q. Definitely change in P is minus as per the example, and you have to calculate the slope of demand curve, which tells the steepness and the flatness of the demand curve only, and tell the absolute change. It is not given anything in the way of proportion or percentage, fine. Now the next, law of demand. Law of demand is, the definition is clearly mentioned over there. Law of demand states that the inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded, that we will discuss also in the classes, and keeping other factor constant. Ceteris paribus means keeping other factor constant. The word of this meaning is written over there. So the question can come, what do you mean by ceteris paribus? That is, you will say that is keeping other factor constant, fine. And this law is also known as first law of purchase. Assumption of law of demand. What is the assumption of law of demand is other factors are constant. Which is the main factor considered in law of demand? That is definitely price, as you have just noticed. Price and quantity demanded is considered over there. Now assumption of law of demand, that is the price of substitute goods do not change, price of complementary goods do not change, income of the consumer not change, no expectation of change in price in future, taste and preference remain constant. So all these things, all these factors which affect the demand, that should be constant. So as per the table, suppose the price has been decreasing, then demand will be increasing in this way. This is the table we are following, price and quantity demanded over there. Fine. This is the table you are you have to see the table. Price in rupees is given, quantity demanded in units. So this is a proper table. You have to show unit of measurement over there, and there they have made this diagram. Quantity demanded on x-axis and price on y-axis, and this is the demand curve. Fine. So always take quantity demanded on x-axis. Suppose in any case you take the quantity demanded on y-axis, then I will cut the diagram. Okay. So this is the demand curve. You have to name it. That is DD. DD is the demand curve over there, which is showing the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, and you are making it from left to right. This is the first quantity. First at 5 price there is a quantity 1. This is very important that you are starting the DD demand curve from which left to right. So here the demand curve is starting from left to right. This is downward sloping from left to right, showing the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, where other factors are constant over there, and other factors will move one by one. It will not altogether move for deciding the demand. Fine. Now the question is why other factors are kept constant, because you have to study the relation between price and quantity demanded. That it is very important that other factor will be remain constant. So if you want to discuss the separate influence of one factor, then you have to keep other factors shut down, means keep short, keep constant. So this is the reason given over there. That question can be asked. Other factor, important facts about law of demand is inverse relationship. Inverse relationship between two variable, that is price and quantity demanded here. Fine. Then it is a qualitative, not quantitative. This is a qualitative statement basically, because it indicates just the direction of change in the amount of demand due to change in the price. It doesn't tell the magnitude, it doesn't tell the how much percentage has been changed in the quantity demanded due to price. So it is only the qualitative statement. The question of 1 mark or MCQ can come from this particular facts. No proportional relation. So it doesn't establish any proportional relation. It is showing that at this price this is the, at this price this is a quantity, at this price this is a quantity. So it is showing basically the different quantity demanded at different possible prices. It is not showing that how much changes occurred. It is not showing any proportional relationship over there. So here only shows the different quantity demanded at different possible prices. Fine. It doesn't show that how much changes occurred in the price, how much changes occurred in the demand due to price. Now one-sided, that is another feature of this particular law of demand, that this is one-sided. Law of demand is a one-sided. It only explain, this is very important that you have to, it's only explain the effect of change in price on the quantity demanded. It doesn't show the change in quantity demanded on price. So here you can see that this is showing that when price is increasing from 2 to 3, then quantity demanded will be decreased from 6 to 2. So this is showing only the qualitative aspect. This is not showing any proportion over there. And then which factor is moving? Price is moving and showing that now the effect of price is showing on the quantity demanded. But what about when the quantity demanded increasing from 10 to 15, then what is the effect on the price of that particular product? It is not to be discussed over there. So this is the one-sided effect, that is the effect of change in price on the quantity demanded, that you are to see very carefully. But what about when the quantity demanded, sometimes quantity demanded changes due to other factor. Why quantity demanded changes? Suppose taste and preference is there. So in today's time, so much taste and preference for the herbal product, too much taste and preference for the immunity products. So for the fruits or the vegetable, there is a too much demand for these products. People are not going out, they are not going out for eating, so they are making everything at home. They try to make everything at home, and they are stop going stop going out there. So there is a quantity demanded that has been changed due to taste and preference for herbal products. So what is the effect on the price of these products? So that is not to be discussed in law of demand. That is why it is a one-sided effect. Right? Now the next topic is derivation of law of demand. So how derivation of law of demand is there? Means basically law of demand says that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, other factor constant, and this inverse relationship between price and demand that is given by law of demand. And that can be derived by the utility. Basically, utility and law of marginal utility, law of equimarginal utility apply in this case. Where did you learn utility? Marginal utility and law of equimarginal utility you have learned in consumer equilibrium. So marginal, as per the marginal utility, what is to be said that if the consumer goes on consuming continuously consuming of the product, then each additional unit gives the lesser utility to the consumer. So that is why he will pay less for that. So here I can give you the example. Now here I am just writing of the quantity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the quantity demanded, and then the marginal utility you got 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. So what is the formula? That I am dividing marginal utility of X commodity upon marginal utility of money, because this is the formula of consumer equilibrium. As you know, you can interchange these two items with each other. You can write it this way also: marginal utility of X upon price of X is equal to marginal utility of money. And you can write in both the ways, but I am writing in this way now to prove this, that marginal utility of X commodity upon marginal utility of money. So here I am getting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the price I am ready to pay for this particular unit, because I am getting satisfaction. So from first unit I am getting satisfaction equal to 5 rupee. From second unit I am getting satisfaction equal to 4 rupee. So as you see that from the every additional unit I got lesser satisfaction in terms of rupees. So if you are dividing marginal utility upon marginal utility of money, then you get utility in rupees. This is the utility in rupees. So you can say that out of first unit you are getting marginal utility equal to 5 rupees. From the second unit you are getting marginal utility equal to 4 rupees. From third unit you are getting marginal utility equal to 3 rupees, and from fourth equal to 2 rupees, and from 5 equal to 1 rupee. So that means for you want to pay for every additional unit like lesser unit. So this is known as that whenever price increases, then demand decreases, because for every additional unit you want to pay lesser for that. Fine. So that is why you can connect this marginal utility with law of demand. When price fall, then demand increases, and when price increases, then demand decreases. Because if the price of, suppose marginal utility is more than price here, likewise you can see that marginal utility is more than price here, then what happens that now the consumer is going to buy this, and from this and at this point consumer want to stop the consumption, because price is rupees 3 here. As you know that price is also given per unit, that is given for per unit. Per unit means 1 unit, price of 1 unit is rupees 3. So now he is getting more satisfaction, so he will go on consumption, then at 3 unit he will stop. That is the consumer equilibrium over there. So as you can see that if he will go on consuming, then he has to decrease the price, because satisfaction should be equal to price. So this is the satisfaction in terms of rupees. For every additional unit consumer wants to pay lesser price. So if he will decrease the price in this way, then the demand will increase. Right? And if we can see the reverse case, here the utility derived equal to 2 rupees, but the price of the product is 3. Then in this case what happens that he will pay, he has to for selling out the fourth or fifth unit, he has to decrease the price from 3 to 2, from 3 to 1 if he wants to sell out these products. So likewise if he want to increase the quantity, then he has to decrease the price. Or you can say that if the price is decreasing, then quantity will increase. If the price is increasing, then quantity will decrease. Like you can see while explaining the example in more, that if you will decrease the price, suppose there is a decrease in price from 3 to 2. Here I am assuming that price is rupees 3 per unit. But now if the price decrease from 3 to 2, then he will purchase more unit, that is 4th unit, and he will get the equilibrium over there, because here the price is rupees 2. Fine. So in this way you can see that if you will decrease the price, then quantity is increasing over there. Here you are decreasing the price from 3 to 2, and there the quantity is increasing from 3 to 4 unit. Fine. And if you will increase the price from 3 to 4, then you can see that you are to be stop at the second unit, because you have got the consumer equilibrium over there, and then you are decreasing the quantity. Now if the price is increasing from 3 to 4, then consumer will shift from 3 to 2. If the price is increasing from 3 to 4, this is the price. Now what about the quantity? Quantity here will go to third to second unit. This is the price, third to second unit. That is you are to decreasing the quantity, because price is increasing. Here if the price has been decreasing, from 3 to 2, then you are increasing the quantity from third to fourth unit. Fine. Now the second way I am taking that, if the price has been decreasing from 3 to 2, now quantity demanded you are doing, what are doing with the quantity demanded? Quantity demanding from will shift from third to fourth unit. That is, will be shifting from decrease. There is a decrease and there is a increase when prices decrease, and when prices increase, then this shows the negative relationship between price and quantity demanded, as the quantity demanded is related to your satisfaction which you are deriving from the product. Fine. In this way you can prove this. When you are talking about law of equimarginal utility, that is given over there, law of equimarginal utility, how this apply law of equimarginal utility behind the law of demand. In law of equimarginal utility, what happens that there is a two commodity case, especially marginal utility of x upon price of x is equal to marginal utility of y upon price of y is equal to marginal utility of m. This is a condition of consumer equilibrium in this case. So suppose I am taking 10 is the marginal utility, 2 is the price, and here for y commodity 20 is the marginal utility and 4 is the price. So I am getting 5 is equal to 5, and this is the consumer equilibrium, and 5 util also marginal utility of money. That is implied that if they both are equal, then same is the marginal utility of money. So I am taking 5 util is the marginal utility of money. Now what happens that if the price has been decrease of x commodity from 2 to 1, so that means price is decreasing, price decrease from rupees 2 to rupees 1. आपका 2 से 1 हो गया price. Now what happens, you have to get the equilibrium again, and if you are getting the equilibrium, what you have to do, increase the quantity of x commodity. You have to increase the quantity of x commodity so that marginal utility will be decreased and they both will be equal again. So you have to increase the quantity of x commodity over there. So you have to increase the quantity of x commodity here. So what happens that if the price decreases, then there you have to increase the quantity of x commodity so that you can decrease the marginal utility. So what is the effect of decrease in price? You have to increase the quantity. So this is the law of marginal utility, apply based same way in the law of demand. If the price decreases, then quantity demanded increases. Fine. And what you will do if you are doing the reverse case. Now in the same way I am taking example of the law of equimarginal utility, that is marginal utility of x upon price of x is equal to marginal utility of y upon price of y is equal to marginal utility of money here. So the consumer equilibrium we get 10 by 2 is equal to 20 by 4. Suppose I am taking marginal utility of x commodity 10 util and then price of x 2, and here marginal utility of y 20 util, price of y 4, and I am getting the 5 is equal to 5 is equal to 5. They all three together are equal to each other. That is the consumer equilibrium situation. Now what happens if I am applying law of demand here, then suppose I am increasing the price from 2 to 5. So here I have increased the price from 2 to 5. Now you can see that the outcome of the marginal utility of x by px is 2, and here that is remain for y commodity 5. Now you can see that this is marginal utility of y upon p marginal utility of y upon py is more than marginal utility of x upon price of x. So that is more. What is the next we have to do? Here price has been increasing. Now I have to decrease the quantity so that marginal utility will increase from 10 to 20. So I have to decrease the quantity. What I have to do? What I am doing over there, if price is increasing, I have to decrease the quantity to get the consumer equilibrium. So this is the same effect as we get in the law of demand. When price increases, then quantity decreases. So as we are doing same in the law of equimarginal utility. So that is why we can say that marginal utility and law of equimarginal utility are responsible, basically these two are responsible for law of demand. These two law supports law of demand in this way, because the quantity has been decided as per the change in price, and which is indicated, which is also affected by the utility behind that. Fine. So in this way you can prove your example. Now the next topic is that is given over there also. You can follow over there, and you can follow this this example also which I just told you in this way also. So now the reasons for law of demand. So what are the reasons for law of demand? That is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility is the only reason for law of demand. Basically that is the major reason, because as you go on consuming more commodity, utility derived goes on decreasing. So when the utility derived goes on decreasing, that is why you can say that for additional unit consumer will pay lesser price. Right? As you can see, a law of diminishing marginal utility, quantity goes on increasing, then utility goes on decreasing from 10 to 8, 6, 4 to 1. This is the law of diminishing marginal utility. When you are consuming the product continuously, then this will happen. So what will happen that In this way, consumer is ready to pay always the lesser price for the additional unit. So law of diminishing marginal utility is responsible for law of demand and reason for law of demand. Now the next thing is substitution effect. What is substitution effect? Substitution effect means if the price of if the two commodity are substitute for each other, they can use in place of each other, and the price of one commodity fall, then it becomes relatively cheaper as compared to their substitute. And as a result, what it will do, the demand for the given commodity will increase because the price has been decreased for that. So if I am taking the example here, like I am taking the example of two substitute goods, Pepsi and Coke. If the price of Pepsi goes down decreasing from 10 to 5 rupees, definitely if you are talking about the price, that is per unit. Always in economics, price is the per unit. So if the price of Pepsi is decreasing, then what will happen, that it will become cheaper comparison to Coke. Definitely it is becoming cheaper comparison to Coke. So what will happen, people will move to Pepsi because that product is cheaper in terms of price. So this is the substitution effect, and now the people are moving from Coke to Pepsi because that has become cheaper. So this is the substitution effect. So when the substitution effect is stronger, then people will move from one product to another. This is the, now they will move Coke to Pepsi. Fine. So this is the movement of people from Coke to Pepsi. That means substitution effect is stronger and positive over there. Fine. This is the substitution effect only. Fine. Now what is the income effect? Income effect, basically that is the effect on demand when real income changes. So what is the real income? Real income is basically the purchasing power, purchasing capacity of the consumer. Real income is not concerned with the, here we are not considering the money income over there. So if I am talking about the income effect, then I am talking that price of a product has been decreasing, like 40 rupees earlier it was and now 20. So 20 rupees has been decreasing in this way. So this is the 20 rupee which is in the hand of consumer because the price has been decreased. Now his real income has been increasing. His purchasing capacity have been increasing in this way. I am not talking about the money income. Money income is which he earning and want to spend out of that. So that is the money income. Not talking about the income, not talking about the money income here. So if suppose income of the consumer has been increasing, I am not talking about over there. We are talking about income effect in the demand in this way, that their real income has been increasing, and real income is their purchasing capacity has been increasing in the case of the product. So if the price has been increasing from 40 to 20, that means real income has been increasing by rupees 20. So this is the real income I am talking about, and that has been pointed out in this income effect. So you will straightway write over there that only real income is increasing, and real income will increase when the price has been decreased. And if the real income will increase, then what will happen? Now the people can purchase more because they are having more earning, they are having more purchasing capacity. And here if the money, if we can say that their money income has been increased, that means their salary has been increased. We are not talking about this over there. No need to mention it. Okay, so we are not talking about money income, we are talking about real income over there. That means their purchasing capacity has been increased. So in this way, if the income effect refers to effect on demand when the real income of the consumer changes, fine, and due to change in the price of the given commodity. So that is clearly mentioned over there. Fine, no need to change money income over there. When the price of the given commodity fall, it increases the purchasing power of the consumer, that is real income of the consumer, and as a result he will purchase more of the given commodity with the same amount of money. So here as I have given you the example, like if the price of Coke has been decreasing from 40 to 20, that means real income has been increasing by rupees 20 over there, and with rupees 20 he can purchase more of the same commodity. That is the income effect. If income effect is positive for the Coke, that is the product, then that means income effect is positive for Coke. If suppose he is not purchasing Coke with this income effect and purchase some other quantity, some other commodity for this product, suppose he is purchasing some other some Nimbu Pani, suppose you want to purchase Nimbu Pani over there, suppose next substitute is Nimbu Pani, so then he will shifting from Coke to Nimbu Pani. That means income effect is negative for Coke over there. Fine. So income effect will be positive for Coke when he will purchase the leftover money on the Coke itself. Fine. And what about the price effect in this case? Price effect is made out of income effect plus substitution effect. What is the price effect in law of demand? That if price falls, then quantity demanded rises. If price increases, then quantity demanded falls. This effect can come when these two effects support. Price effect is made up of income effect plus substitution effect. They both should be positive. Means substitution effect positive means if price falls, suppose 10 to 8 in the case of substitute goods, then suppose this Coke and Pepsi, they both are the substitute and its price has been decreasing, then people will shift to Coke. They will prefer Coke definitely because that is the cheaper. लोग हमेशा सस्ती चीज़ पसंद करते हैं. प्राइस ऑलवेज इफेक्ट इन दिस वे. सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट हमेशा पॉजिटिव रहेगा किसी भी केस में. जो चीज़ सस्ती होगी एक बार कंज्यूमर उसके बारे में ज़रूर सोचेगा. तो दैट इज़ द सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट. फाइन. एंड देन व्हाट अबाउट द इनकम इफेक्ट? इनकम इफेक्ट ओवर देयर दैट ही इज़ हैविंग टू रुपीज़ नाउ. 2 रुपये बच गए इसके पास. अब ये 2 रुपये ये अगर कोक पे ही खर्च कर रहा है तो इसका मतलब इनकम इफेक्ट भी पॉजिटिव है. सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट तो हर केस में पॉजिटिव होता है या इनकम इफेक्ट भी पॉजिटिव है. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर प्राइस घटेगा तो इसी की क्वांटिटी इंक्रीज होगी. तो प्राइस इफेक्ट विल वर्क इन दिस केस एंड लॉ ऑफ डिमांड अप्लाई इन दिस केस. क्लियर है बात? नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज additional customer. So when the price of commodity fall, then other consumers start to buy the product because that has become dearer, cheaper. So the people start to buy that product which is having lower price comparatively other. So the additional consumer are adding up and demand has been increased in this way when the price fall. And price increases, then people will shift from that product to another because now that product has become costly. Now the next thing is different uses. So when the product is having many uses, we can just take the example of those products which are having many uses. When the product is having many uses, then what happens that suppose we are talking about the electricity. So electricity is having many uses. When the price of electricity goes down, then what will happen? If the price of electricity goes down in this case, when the price per unit of electricity goes down to suppose 10 to 5, then what will happen? We will start to use it for many products like washing, lighting, oven. We are using oven, will use AC, will switch on the AC of all the rooms. We can even go for watching TV and using all the products which use the electricity. But when the price goes up from 10 to 20, then what will happen? Then we will use lesser electricity. We will make less use of electricity, like we will use for the necessity work like washing. Suppose we are talking about AC, then we will be in one room maybe and we will start to think about only switch on one AC. We will start to use only making cooking all these product on the gas, not using the oven because the price has been increasing. So we will make less use of electricity for different activities because the price has been increasing. So when the product is having different uses like electricity, milk and many more, so in this case when the price decrease, then more use of that product for different purpose, and when the price has been increased, then lesser use of that product for different purpose. So this happens, and these are all the reasons for law of demand which you have to go with it. Fine. And here it is given over there. Now some exceptions to law of demand also given over there. Exception means these are the product on which law of demand does not apply at all. Here law of demand fails. You can say here law of demand fails and demand curve will be positive in this case. So here the demand curve will be look like this, that is upward sloping. When price rises, then their quantity rises. When price falls, then their quantity demanded falls. So what is the cases which are the exceptions to law of demand? That is first of all is giffen goods. So what is giffen goods? Giffen goods basically that is a kind of inferior good, and where consumer basically these goods quality wise you can say that this is not a good, this good is not represented by good quality, and here law of demand fails. When price rises, then their quantity demanded rises. When price falls, then their quantity demanded falls. The law of demand fails in this case, completely fails. Fine. They are having the positive relationship between price and quantity demanded. It can be asked that in which type of good is having the positive relationship, indicates the positive relationship between price and quantity demanded. There you will mention that is the giffen good which is showing the positive relationship between price and quantity demanded. When price rises, then their quantity demanded rises, and when price falls, then their quantity demanded falls. Otherwise, what is the law of demand? When price rises, then quantity demanded decreases. When price decreases, then quantity demanded increases. But here law of demand fails. Why law of demand fails here? Because this is the giffen good given by Sir Giffen. So Sir Giffen given his name over to this. that is also known as Giffen paradox. This particular phenomena is known as Giffen paradox over there. So what happens that you will just notice that price effect is the combination of income effect and substitution effect. So these two effects are very much active in this case. So in the case of Giffen good, what happens that if the price falls from 10 to 8, suppose it is a kind of inferior good, as I have told you that if the price falls from 10 to 8, then what happened that this product become dearer, this product become cheaper. अभी सस्ता हो गया, सस्ता होएगा तो फिर पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट रहेगा, क्योंकि जब भी चीज़ सस्ती होगी तो कंज्यूमर ऑलवेज प्रेफर टू परचेज दैट। चाहे कुछ भी हो, वो हमेशा एक बार तो ज़रूर सोचेगा कि सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट उसका हमेशा पॉजिटिव ही जाएगा। इन केस ऑफ चाहे तुम गिफन गुड की बात करो, चाहे तुम इन्फीरियर की बात करो, चाहे तुम नॉर्मल गुड की बात करो, सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट तीनों केस में पॉजिटिव जाएगा। वेदर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नॉर्मल गुड, whether you are talking about inferior type of good, and whether you are talking about Giffen type of good. Giffen is also a type of inferior good, fine, ये भी एक तरह की inferior good ही है। तो अब यहाँ पर substitution effect इन दोनों के केस में क्या जाएगा, पॉजिटिव। लेकिन अब इनकम इफेक्ट की बात होती है। इनकम इफेक्ट क्या होता है? इनकम इफेक्ट नॉर्मल गुड के केस में इनकम इफेक्ट होता क्या है, पहले डिस्कस कर लें। व्हेन प्राइस फॉल्स फ्रॉम 10 to 8, देन ही इज़ हैविंग द लेफ्ट ओवर मनी 2 रुपीज़। अब ये 2 रुपये जो इसके पास रियल इनकम आई है, ये किस पे खर्च करें? नॉर्मल गुड के केस में ये नॉर्मल गुड पर ही खर्च करता है, तो ये उस केस में पॉजिटिव होता है। और इसमें लॉ ऑफ डिमांड भी अप्लाई होता है। लॉ ऑफ डिमांड इस केस में अप्लाई होता है। अब बात करें हम इन्फीरियर गुड की। इन्फीरियर गुड के केस में ये जो इनकम इफेक्ट है ये नेगेटिव होता है, ये पॉजिटिव नहीं होता। 2 रुपये ये इस पर खर्च नहीं करना चाहता, 2 रुपये ये किसी और चीज़ पे खर्च करना चाहता है, शिफ्ट होना चाहता है इस प्रोडक्ट से। अगर इन्फीरियर गुड का केस है तो इस केस में ये नेगेटिव होता है। लेकिन नेगेटिव और ये पॉजिटिव, ये दोनों मिलकर बनते हैं। यहाँ ये भी पॉजिटिव है, नॉर्मल गुड के केस में ये भी पॉजिटिव। हाँ जी, अब बात करते हैं नॉर्मल गुड के केस में। सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट नॉर्मल गुड के केस में पॉजिटिव है और इनकम इफेक्ट में भी पॉजिटिव है, इसीलिए प्राइस इफेक्ट यहाँ पर अप्लाई होता है, अप्लाई, और लॉ ऑफ डिमांड भी यहाँ पर अप्लाई होता है। बिकॉज प्राइस इफेक्ट इज बेसिकली द कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूशन प्लस इनकम इफेक्ट, फाइन। अब इन्फीरियर गुड की बात करें, सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट यहाँ पर पॉजिटिव होता है। सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट इन दोनों के केस में पॉजिटिव होता है। सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट बेसिकली होता क्या है, व्हेन प्राइस हैज़ बीन डिक्रीजिंग देन प्रोडक्ट बिकम चीपर, चीप हो जाता है प्रोडक्ट, और चीपर प्रोडक्ट ऑलवेज प्रेफर्ड बाय द कंज्यूमर। ये चाहे कोई भी टाइप की गुड हो, हमेशा कंज्यूमर प्रेफर करेगा चीपर गुड। लेकिन ये एक तरह से थॉट प्रोसेस है उसका। सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट एक तरह से थॉट प्रोसेस है उसका, और फाइनल इफेक्ट है प्राइस इफेक्ट। अब इनकम इफेक्ट के केस में क्या होता है, सपोज द प्राइस हैज़ बीन इंक्रीजिंग फ्रॉम 10 to 8, देन ही इज़ लेफ्ट ओवर विद द 2 रुपीज़। दिस इज़ द लेफ्ट मनी, और ये इसकी रियल इनकम को इंक्रीज़ कर रहा है। हम यहाँ मनी इनकम की बात नहीं कर रहे, रियल इनकम इंक्रीजेज बाय ₹2, 2 रुपये से इंक्रीज़ हो रही है। अब रियल इनकम इंक्रीज़ हो रही है, तो इन्फीरियर और गिफन गुड के केस में वो क्या करता है, इन्फीरियर गुड के केस में ये नेगेटिव इफेक्ट दिखाता है, क्योंकि ये इस पे 2 रुपये खर्च नहीं करना चाहता, ये किसी और चीज़ पे 2 रुपये खर्च करना चाहता है। और नॉर्मल गुड के केस में ये इसी चीज़ पे 2 रुपये खर्च करना चाहता है जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं। सपोज करो ये गुड है, दिस इज़ द गुड, द नेम ऑफ द गुड इज सपोज दिस इज़ द बैग। नॉर्मल गुड के केस में ये इसी बैग पर ही, ये अगर सस्ता होगा तो भी इसी को ख़रीदना चाहेगा, और पैसे बचेंगे तो भी इसी को ख़रीदना चाहेगा। और तो इस केस में नॉर्मल गुड के केस में दोनों चीज़ें क्या होती है, पॉजिटिव, और प्राइस इफेक्ट अप्लाई होता है, लॉ ऑफ डिमांड अप्लाई होता है। इन्फीरियर गुड के केस में क्या होता है, ये सपोज करो बैग है, ठीक। अब ये इन्फीरियर गुड के केस में ये क्योंकि सस्ता हो गया, 10 से 8 रुपये चीप हो गया, तो इसको परचेज़ करना चाहेगा। लेकिन इनकम इफेक्ट के केस में क्या होगा, ये इसको परचेज़ नहीं करना चाहेगा। ये जो 2 रुपये बच गए, इस 2 रुपये से कुछ और परचेज़ करना चाहेगा। ही विल शिफ्ट टू अनदर प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज़ व्हाई इट इज़ नोन एज इन्फीरियर गुड। अब क्या होगा, ये तो होगा नेगेटिव, ये पॉजिटिव, बट दिस इज़ मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर। ये जो उसका सस्ते वाला जो उसका थॉट प्रोसेस है उसके माइंड में, ये ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर होगा, जिसकी वजह से, क्योंकि ये स्ट्रॉन्गर है पॉजिटिव, तो दैट इज़ वाई प्राइस इफेक्ट अगेन अप्लाई ओवर देयर, एंड लॉ ऑफ डिमांड विल बी अप्लाई इन द केस ऑफ इन्फीरियर गुड। इन्फीरियर गुड के केस में लॉ ऑफ डिमांड अप्लाई हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर है, पॉजिटिव वाला पार्ट ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर है। लेकिन गिफन गुड के केस में सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट जब आएगा, उसके मन में जब थॉट प्रोसेस आएगा कि ये चीज़ सस्ती हो रही है, तो पॉजिटिव वाला जो है वो तो पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा, सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट, क्योंकि सस्ती हो रही है वो इसको परचेस करेगा। लेकिन इनकम इफेक्ट के केस में ये नेगेटिव होगा, और ये ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर होगा। ये सोचेगा ही नहीं, ये कहीं और चला ही जाएगा, दूसरी गुड परचेस कर ही लेगा, तो ये थॉट प्रोसेस ज़्यादा उसके दिमाग में स्ट्रॉन्गर होगा, इसीलिए ही विल गो ऑन परचेजिंग सम अदर प्रोडक्ट एंड ही विल लीव दिस प्रोडक्ट. सो इन दिस केस प्राइस इफेक्ट फॉल, प्राइस इफेक्ट नॉट अप्लाइड कह सकते हो, या प्राइस इफेक्ट इस केस में क्या हो जाएगा, नेगेटिव हो जाएगा. प्राइस इफेक्ट नेगेटिव हो जाएगा. और लॉ ऑफ डिमांड नॉट अप्लाई, लॉ ऑफ डिमांड नॉट अप्लाई इन दिस केस. ठीक है, तो इस केस में लॉ ऑफ डिमांड अप्लाई होगा इस केस में, लेकिन इस केस में लॉ ऑफ डिमांड अप्लाई नहीं होगा ड्यू टू दिस. ठीक है, ये आपको एक टेबल आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है ये. फाइन. सो गिवन गुड के केस में क्योंकि लॉ ऑफ डिमांड इसलिए अप्लाई नहीं होता बिकॉज इनकम इफेक्ट इज नेगेटिव एंड मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर दैन सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट. ये दोनों थॉट प्रोसेस हैं. थॉट प्रोसेस क्या है तो मैं बता दी यहाँ पर. ये थॉट प्रोसेस है कि सस्ती हो गई चीज़, ये थॉट प्रोसेस है कि रियल इनकम आपके पास बच गई, आप इसको किस पे खर्च करोगे. ठीक है, सो यू कैन से गिवन गुड्स के केस में लॉ ऑफ डिमांड डज नॉट अप्लाई. फाइन. सो दैट इज वाई दे आर नोन एज द गिवन गुड्स बिकॉज लॉ ऑफ डिमांड डज नॉट अप्लाई इन दिस case. Sir, Robert Giffen is the person who have given this particular economics, who has given the this this particular term or concept Giffen. So that is why the name is Giffen goods. He has given the name also, and that was basically out of the low paid British wage earner. He got this idea and then he made this Giffen goods as a concept. Fine. And that is this phenomena, all this, that law of demand doesn't apply, that income effect is negative income effect is more stronger. This phenomena is known as Giffen paradox. This question can be asked that what is Giffen paradox. Fine. That is against the law of demand given over there. Now the next thing is on which the law of demand does not apply, that is the status symbol goods. So status symbol goods, when you are talking about, when suppose you are talking about the goods who are status symbol like costly paintings and diamonds and all, then you will purchase only those things which are having higher price. So when the price has been increased, then the demand has been increasing in the case of diamond and paintings likewise. Fine, because these showing your prestige. Now the fear of shortage, if the consumer is having fear of shortage of any particular commodity in the near future, then even then law of demand fail in this case, because he know that the commodity will become shortage, then even that today it is having the higher price, he will stop purchasing that. So this is the situation in which law of demand does not apply, and this is the goods in which law of demand doesn't apply. Given goods is a type of good where law of demand doesn't apply. Status symbol goods are the goods where law of demand does not apply. And now this is a situation, fear of shortage, which shows that law of demand does not apply. So then the next thing is ignorance. When consumer is ignorant about using the product, that is he doesn't know about the price, then he will always prefer the higher price. So when consumer doesn't know about any cake like or any other product, suppose he's visiting a shop and he doesn't know about the cakes, then he will purchase the cake which is having the higher price because he is ignorant about the product. Sometimes you don't know about the price of vegetable, then you will prefer to buy that vegetable which is having the higher price because you think that higher price indicating higher quality. So when the consumer is ignorant, then in this situation also law of demand does not apply. Fashion related goods also are the goods where the law of demand does not apply, because the fashion related goods, the goods are in fashion, is having higher price and people prefer that because they want to go for fashion for this. Necessities or life is the next case where the law of demand does not apply, where because these are the things of necessity, whether it is having the higher to higher price, people will prefer that for the sake of their life. So that is why necessity item, in the case of necessity item also law of demand does not apply. And then when there is a change in weather, even then law of demand, this is a situation where law of demand does not apply. Even then in the when the weather changes and when there is a summer season and everybody need AC, a price of AC has been increasing, even then demand has been increasing because there is a change in weather. So all these situations and the product where law of demand does not apply basically, and that you have to do.